Welcome back to Rob Schmitt Tonight. There is now growing bipartisan support for stopping members of Congress from getting rich trading stock when they clearly have a competitive advantage. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her husband have made a fortune in the markets. We went through all that just a couple nights ago here, and it's not hard to see why. They cheat. Pelosi knows what's going to happen long before the rest of us do in many cases. She's nothing but a thief. Her husband, too. Republican Senator Josh Hawley plans to introduce a bill in the Senate to ban members of Congress and their spouses from trading stock. Any violation would require lawmakers or their spouses to divulge any investment to the U.S. Treasury. Additional penalties also may be leveled by congressional ethics committees, but it's not just Republicans that are calling for this. Democrat Senators John Ossoff and Mark Kelly have their own bill as well. While the two bills are similar, Ossoff's would also apply the ban to any dependent children as well. Meanwhile, a similar legislation was introduced in the House last year by Republican Congressman Chip Roy and Democrat Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger. Last month, Pelosi defended the practice of allowing members of Congress to trade stocks while in office. Of course she did. That's how she's gotten so rich. She's going to defend it to the death. According to federal disclosure documents, the House Speaker and her husband may be among the world's top stock pickers, with federal disclosure reports indicating they beat the S&P 500 index 2 years in a row by 4.9% in 2019 and a shocking 14.3% in 2020. Again, it's very easy when you cheat. Indiana Congressman Jim Banks joins us now to talk more about this. Sir, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming on. Pelosi is against this thing. What do you think happens in Congress?
Good to be with you. Well, we'll see. I mean, Kevin McCarthy will be the next Speaker of the House when we win back the majority in the midterm elections. And he's made this a top priority to clean up the House and some of the practices of the House. He's talked about a number of options that we can take. One of them would be to stop and make it illegal for members of Congress to purchase and trade stocks that are related to businesses that are under the jurisdictions of committees that they serve on. That seems like common sense to me. So I hope we take a path like that. I know Kevin McCarthy is serious about doing it.
Do you not think that it'll happen before the next election?
Not on Nancy Pelosi's watch. No, I don't.
Wow.
I mean, Nancy Pelosi and her husband, as you've already mentioned, have gotten very rich in her time in office. So I don't think it's going to happen until Republicans win back the majority. And Kevin McCarthy, who's going to be our speaker, has made this one of his priorities.
That really is something. How can anybody vote against it? I think if you actually put that on the floor, it would almost seem like anybody voting against it would be voting for corruption.
Exactly, and that's why Speaker Pelosi is not going to allow it to happen, because she's even if her time is limited as it is in the House of Representatives, she's not going to allow a bill to pass that would stop her from trading stocks and continuing to get richer on the job.
Right. I mean, we talked about this week Pelosi, obviously, also Richard Burr in North Carolina, the senator that sold a bunch of stock, over $1 million in stock right before COVID hit. They said he knew it was coming before anybody else did. In my opinion, though, and it's a question, do you think that these bills go far enough? Because I feel like you could just say, hey, John, go to your friend John. This is going to happen. John, buy up a bunch of stock, and then we'll get even later on. Does it go far enough?
Yeah, it has to have more teeth. There's no doubt about it. And there are some bills that are still being drafted and in the process of being introduced. We'll see where it arrives. But I don't bet on a lot of things around here, but I will bet that Nancy Pelosi won't allow anything to pass that's going to affect her bottom line. And this isn't going to happen. These bills aren't going to pass to clean up these practices and stop this type of corruption until Republicans take back the majority.
Something else. From my home state, Indiana Congressman Banks, thank you so much for taking the time, sir. We appreciate it.
Good to be with you.